All right. Hi, everybody. It's Jenny J, 1911. And guess what? I have our very own Brian's custom canvas in the house with us tonight. It has only taken me how many months, Brian, to get you on here?
I can't count. I'm not thinking.
I think I emailed you, I don't know, months and months ago, and I said, would you be interested in doing this? I think it was right after you sent me a holster, probably. And
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
With it,
you'd be a really good person to have on, and you've been busy, which I understand has kind of been your peak season. So that's but that's good, right?
that's been the main ingredient. They're just time crunch. Running the business. Traveling a lot, trying to get all the jobs done and scheduled, and
Yeah.
the paperwork and stuff like that. Yeah, so it took up a lot of time. So it was like, and plus I didn't have any experience with the whole video thing. So I was like, okay, this is a learning curve. So
Yeah, but you do
sure.
now. I mean, look at you. Like I said, so I have to tell you all that Brian was very nervous about, not being able to figure out how to log in. And guess who beat me here? It
Yeah, I
was
jumped the
him.
gun about 7:30, 7:50, whatever.
I was still upstairs doing my hair and my makeup. So you probably didn't do your hair and makeup, did you, Brian?
Well, I kind of texted you and I said that I was going to get a facial, nails, and what
Yeah,
what have you,
yeah, exactly. Let's see the
as if it
nails.
needs it.
Well, all right. I'm going to give a little shout out here because not only do we have Brian here, but tonight we have our member, Michael Dunn, is here. Michael, great to see you. Who else do we have? Cowboy Jeff, of course. Cowboy Jeff says, I'm on double time tonight. We'll also be working, but I'm here. Now, that is dedication, Cowboy Jeff. I'm very impressed. We also have Reese here. Our member Reese is with us. Yep. And Affordable Armory is here. Stephen Hall, our member Stephen Hall is here. Tim Rink, great to see you. So we've got, and of course, you all know my husband wasn't able to be here last week. He was out on the job site, but tonight he's back with me. My daughter is safely ensconced in her bedroom, talking to her friends on her phone, just like she wants to be. So no more backstage manager jobs for her tonight. That's she was more than happy to pass that buck back to my poor husband who's sitting here.
Oh,
So
wow.
so all right. Well, Brian, you are our special guest tonight. So we are all so excited. I see Affordable Armory says good to finally put a face to a name. I knew that everybody would want to be able to put a face to a name. Now I've seen your face because you've sent me pictures of you shooting,
You
but
had two versions.
yeah, facial hair and no facial hair.
Yeah, military and facial hair.
Yeah. So, I think everybody's going to be really glad to get to finally talk to you and, meet the man behind the name. So, first of
Yeah,
all,
the keyboard
Brian,
warrior.
yeah. So tell us, Critter's here. Critter just hopped on.
I
Um,
got a I
you have
got a
the
quick
daughter.
question for you, real quick.
Yeah.
Your chat thing on the side. I'm
Yes.
looking at my phone for trying to follow the chats, but I don't have anything on my side.
Yeah, I think that it doesn't show up for some reason. Like, I don't know, guests don't see it. I've had other people say this too, and I know I've been on lives where I'm like, I can't see, but you have it on your phone. It's showing up on your
Yep.
phone.
So if you see me looking down, that's why.
Hey, I'm impressed that you were able to like come up with a solution. So that's
Well,
good.
sometimes the multiple screens is pretty good, but I don't have that here.
Yeah, I know. I actually do have. I've got my phone and I've got two computers up, so that's kind of. I like to.
So sorry about the interrupt. Go ahead with
No, you're
your
totally fine.
introductions.
Yeah, you're totally fine. So, all right. So, Brian, first of all, tell us how long you have been shooting and what got you into it. When did you get started? And we'll go from there.
Well, since the age of 6, I went out with my grandfather and my father, and it was a 10 gauge, which has some pack to it. And I went out hunting and didn't get much of anything really. but it progressed from there, and I fell in love with the sport, and the people around me in the town that I grew up, they were all sportsmen, and it seemed like there was a hunting season, but where I grew up, if you hunted all species, it was nonstop hunting season. So it was great. So basically, from the age of 6 right up until currently.
Yeah. And so you said you went with your grandfather?
Yep, my grandfather and my father.
Your grandfather and
My
your
father
father?
wasn't too much of a hunter, but my grandfather, he liked the nature part of it, but he was pretty good.
Yeah. So what did you inherit if your grandfather was, such a big gun guy? What did you inherit from him?
Basically, a lot of respect
Yeah.
for firearms and the people around you, more so the people around you.
Yeah. Well, I know. I think that's always, I hear a lot of people talk about learning from their grandfathers and their fathers. And it seems like that's just one of the most special childhood memories that a kid can have is being able to go out and shoot. And I don't know if it's because, you're doing something so powerful with somebody that you already have a lot of respect for, and they're
Definitely.
sharing that with you, So I think that's really cool when you get to do that. That's why I love shooting with my kids. I mean, I think it's time well spent. So family time shooting is always a good thing.
And I found growing up, and I took care of my nephew, which he's bigger than me. He's like 6'2", about 230. He's a big boy, but now he takes care of the old man.
Well, and okay, so that brings me to my next question, because I kind of already knew the answer to this, but since you had this love for firearms passed down to you, who have you passed the love of firearms down to?
Definitely 100% my nephew.
Yeah.
And I call him John Wick because everybody at hunting camp, everybody wants to, have, some sort of harvest. But he comes home, I tell him he's John Wick with Indian feet because he always comes home with something and everybody complains that he doesn't leave anything for anybody else. And then they stare at me going, you taught him.
Yeah, it's your fault.
Pretty much.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, so you actually are able to shoot outdoors a lot.
Yes.
So, talk to me about that.
Outdoors is great. I have a spot over in New Hampshire, and I also have a spot here in New York. New York is about the politics nowadays, but that's what I'm dealing with now, and it's just unbelievable. So it's like always waiting in anticipation as to what they're going to come up with next and what you can do, what you cannot do. But I found with firing ranges, especially here in New York, they're expensive. And some of them, you have to use their preloaded ammo and not your own.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
so it's a lot of red tape, a lot of around in this area.
Yeah. So, all right. So you have your own outdoor space to shoot in New Hampshire. What are you able to shoot in that outdoor space?
I'm good out to 800 to 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
So I can do some plinking. Not that I'm good at it, but I have the ability where I can do that if I can choose so.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe you. I think that you're being modest, but all right. So what is your favorite?
I think I sent you a video with the mountain range in the back.
You did, yeah. Uh-huh. Yep.
That was my nephew's backyard, so you can just go and just do whatever. But as far as accuracy out to that point, I'll be honest.
At that point, you're just like, I don't know. For me, I'd be like, I don't really care if I hit something. Just getting to shoot out in a space like that would be incredible. He's got a really beautiful space out there.
That's like my nephew. He wants me to do a Christensen Arms 300 PRC, which is a stout bullet. And that'll reach out about 1,800 yards.
Yeah.
So, but the price tag with that and finding the ammo, which you kind of introduced me into, reloading, I was like, this might be a ticket.
That might be an option. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay, so what is your favorite thing to shoot? What's your favorite gun to shoot? I don't care if it's a pistol, a rifle, a shotgun, whatever. What's your favorite thing to shoot?
Okay, I'll get the elephant out of the room first. I do own a piece of Tupperware, but I seldom carry it. I actually carry a 1911. Most of the time, it's a Springfield. It's a Ronin, 4 1/4, 45 ACP.
Yeah.
And that's either on my hip or appendix carry. Because I feel, and from a lot of people that I've talked to, that the 1911 is one of the most safest for appendix carry because you have so many safeties you have to defeat before you get to a vulnerable point.
Yep. I feel the exact same way. That's why, I got that the commander or the gun, the new Springfield Armory gun that I got because the champion, because I was like, I love my Hellcat, but I just feel like I wanted something with some more safeties just because I do appendix carry too. And it's really the only place on my body where I can hide anything. And, especially in the winter when you're wearing a baggy sweatshirt, it helps a lot. But I feel the same way. Just having that, the thumb safety alone is, to me, just such a peace of mind. And then, of course, the backstrap safety.
Yep.
Added bonus. So, but yeah, I'm totally with you. The more safeties I have, because I do want to carry it. Hot. I want to make sure that I don't have to.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to have to load
rack
something
around
into the chamber. Yeah, when I really need to. If I can just click off my thumb safety and be ready to go, it's going to be a lot easier. So
usually when I clear the holster, if you do drive fire with snap caps, as soon as I clear the holster, that safety is off.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, okay, that's your pistol. But now what about some kind of long gun?
I have a 1917 Eddystone 30-06 Springfield, set up for Springfield 30-06.
Nice. And so that's your favorite.
That one actually harvested the last year.
Wow.
And it was an 8-point heavy. It was 210 before I dressed it.
Uh-huh. Okay. So, and how long that was this year?
Yes.
That was just like a couple weeks ago, right?
Yep. And I've had that rifle since 89.
Wow.
Yeah. And how I came across that was my father was a gunsmith. He went to school to get his gunsmith, license back in the day. And he wanted to go into bow shooting. And I was heavy into bow shooting. Uh-huh. So I had a bow and he wanted to trade me the bow for the Eddystone. So I'm like, all right, keep it in the family. So I was like, score.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Man, I mean, that's a good deal if you can get it. Mm-hmm. So, okay.
And yes, it's sporterized. A lot of people are like, oh no, that's cannibalizing a gun. Well, no, it's actually, I like it.
Well, you know what? Here's my opinion. If whatever you've done to your gun or somebody else has done to your gun makes you enjoy it, if you enjoy it however it is, then what's the problem? It's your gun. It's your gun to shoot. So if you enjoy it, then that's completely.
And nine times out of 10, if I get incapacitated or what have you, all my firearms are going to my nephew. Because I know he's responsible enough and he's well aware of, the capabilities of everything.
Yep, exactly. So Michael Dunn says that he has a 1917 Winchester 30-06 Springfield spring.
Yep. I just noticed that.
Yeah.
The only thing that I have a hard time with mine is because it was set up. I had the military enlistment papers in the rear heel on the original stock. It was metal. So you pull open an open gate and it had all the cleaning rods,
Uh-huh.
but the top of the action for the scope mounts, they fold away. So you can put what they call a clip. Everybody misunderstands a clip from a
Yes.
magazine. It
Yes, they do.
holds 6 rounds, and you can put it into the top of the action and push it down, and it loads automatically. And then you can take the scope and snap it back over, and
Oh,
it
wow.
stays true. But to try and
Wow.
find a scope for that, because the distance between both rings are 5.5 to 6 inches.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, I wanted to put a vortex on there, but they're too short. So I have to either put a bridge, but that's where the ejection comes out. It'll nail that scope all the time.
Yeah. That wouldn't
So
be
it's
good.
kind of frustrating.
Yeah, no kidding. So, all right. So you said that you were also into bow shooting.
Yep.
So, but do you still bow shoot?
hmm Beginning of the year, because it starts off the hunting season early before everybody else, and then
Yeah.
at the end of the season. So
Yep.
you can keep going while everybody's, pretty much packed up and, home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll be all right out there. I don't
Yeah,
mind that.
exactly. Anything that's left, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, what have you gotten? I know you hunt a lot. So, other than deer, what have you hunted?
Turkey, rabbit. My nephew wants me to go, after up here in upstate New York, they have black squirrels.
Oh,
So,
really?
and they're really kind of cool. But he wants me to go into that. And he grew up, hunting all the different various species. And every time I went to go pick him up over at my sister's house, he always had on the menu something, a catch of the day. So I was like, I grew up with most of my family, of all my sisters, they're all farm. So we grew up with pigs, chickens, and everything else. And I did all that, cleaning, dressing it, taking care of everything that's, on the homestead.
Right.
But he always surprised me with something, whether it be like a little pellet that he didn't clean out and I found it, and good old Uncle Brian's going to chip a tooth.
Oh my gosh. Did that
But
actually happen?
no, but
Oh,
every once in a while you found a pellet.
oh my gosh.
But
Yeah.
he was a good egg. But now
Oh,
now he takes care of me. He's like, if you get something, I'll help you drag it. I'll clean it for you. So he
aw.
looks out for me. Yeah, he's
Well,
a good
that's
kid.
awfully nice.
Yeah, that
That's,
kid. He's 38.
yeah. No, that's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah.
So he needs to become a subscriber.
I don't know if he has time. He's just as busy as I am. Between the season, the boating season, he's a construction worker, so he's always
Ah,
on jobs all over the place. So
yeah.
I'm here, there, and everywhere between different states. That's why when you asked me, I was like, I'm gonna have to find some time. I'm gonna have to massage some of the schedule. So
Yeah.
I figured, well, all right, it's a point for me to get out there and see the subscribers from a different point of view,
Yeah.
and they also see, likewise, they
Yep.
put this with the keyboard,
Yep, exactly. Well, I mean, I think that your nephew would at least like to watch the live of his Uncle Brian.
yeah, yeah, true.
That would be, I think he'd get a kick out of that. So you'll have to send him the link later.
Oh, he'll bash me.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the stream, but I'm probably taking some heat or something.
Yeah.
Stripper clip. Stripper clip. Michael Dunn. Yeah.
Yep, Michael Dunn. Uh-huh. So, all right.
Smoke
So,
rabbits are
Brian,
good.
tell me about your holster artistry. How did you get into that? Like how does that even happen? Because you're the
Okay.
only holster maker I know. Well, no, I take that back. I know the guy that makes race holsters, but that's completely different.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But that's not out of the question. I can do that because I do a lot of equestrian stuff around here in Saratoga area. So they
oh,
get
really?
the horse track and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the gentleman that taught me years ago, he said, diversify yourself. Never pigeonhole yourself into one item.
Yeah.
So he says, if the needle goes up and down, he's happy. So
Mhm.
whether it be medical beds, like your company probably has curtains to divide different areas. Like transitioning from warehouse to warehouse. You got drop curtains. Now the marine industry, awnings for commercial buildings, the interiors of restaurants. So I was going through all this stuff and trying to diversify myself where I wouldn't be out of work.
Right.
And then I thought to myself, well, you know what? I haven't dabbled with Kydex, but eventually I'll dabble in it because my brain, I like to find different
Yeah.
things that maybe I can figure it out. I'd
Uh-huh.
love to be challenged. So what happened was I was like, well, I'm dealing with leather anyways. I'm going to try doing leather. This was years ago for firearms because
Mhm.
I'm heavy into firearms. So I figured, why not? If I
Yeah.
don't have a mold, I'll use what I already have. But,
Yeah.
I wrap it in saran wrap like, Christmas gift,
Yeah.
but to keep the moisture off. But I saw the niche for people that want quality. And
Hmm.
that's one thing that I'll pick, threads apart. If I don't like it, I'm not going to pass it on to somebody else that is not going to like it because why bother? Because you're just creating a headache for yourself.
Yeah.
So I got into the leather holsters going, well, you know what? This is something neat. I can do this on the side, in between everything, keep myself motivated, moving, and provide a quality product for the people out there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, okay, so how long, and I know that every holster is going to be different depending on what gun it's holstering and whatnot, but how, on average, how long does it take you to make one holster?
Like lead time, if I like say I'm doing a standard Glock without the reinforcement on the front or back,
Hmm.
that'll usually take me about 8 hours to a day.
Wow.
And that's wet mud, drawing it out, hand drawing the pattern,
Uh-huh.
getting the hide out, cutting the hide, wetting the hide, forming it after it's been stitched. Yeah, I have a vacuum former, and that compresses all the leather down itself, and then I do all the little detail work. The detail work is not necessary; it's more of an aesthetic.
Hmm.
So I just put that in there because I feel that it just shows more quality to it. But
Absolutely.
about a day,
Wow. That's incredible. Now, okay, so for the one you made me, how it took how long?
about 8 hours.
About 8. Okay, so that's how
Yeah.
long. Okay. I
So
mean,
basically, with the one that you had, I did everything twice because there's an actual inner liner. So I had to cut two
right.
patterns for the inner and outer.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, okay, do you ever foresee that you'll make that a bigger business? I mean,
Yes.
okay. Good. Well, that's good because, now you can, if you want to drop your email or anything down there. Oh, wait, you don't have yeah, you have a chat box on your phone, right? I mean,
Yeah.
feel free to put your email on there and then I can display it on the screen just in case
That's great.
anybody ever wants to
The only the only thing that I've been working with, I did the email. I can put that in there. My
yeah.
website. I haven't got the SSL, that
Uh-huh.
security license or whatever.
Yeah.
So when you go into the website to see what I do,
Yeah.
it'll say this site is not secured, but it's
Ah,
only
okay.
for merchandise and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it is secure. So if anybody wants to look at it, they can see everything that I do. But I'll
Okay.
drop
Well,
that in right,
yeah, I was
right
gonna say
now.
put your website on there and then I can put that up too on the screen. Um, so all right. So
So that,
let's talk about living on the East Coast and being a firearms enthusiast.
okay,
How
that's a hot topic.
yeah, I know. It is a hot topic. I have a feeling we'll have some opinions pop up in the side chat on that too, but um so I'm just curious, you know, do you ever feel like moving away from the East Coast?
Well, maybe more south.
South. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that there's red flag laws in Florida, but I heard that one company went over that came from Massachusetts, went down to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And then Florida has the red flag laws, but they're gun friendly. So it's kind of what I'm dealing with here over in New Hampshire, which is constitutional carry. You can pretty much do about anything. But yeah, I also live in New York,
Right.
which is complete polar opposite.
Yeah. So New Hampshire is constitutional carry?
Yes. And
Isn't that
I believe it's also recognized traversity with 24 other states, I think.
okay? All right. It's got reciprocity with.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, that's
Teacher
interesting.
to the rescue.
Well, I mean, being a firearms instructor, that is one thing we tell people a lot because they say, well, why should we get our CCW if our state is constitutional carry? And I always tell them because your CCW works with we've got 36 states with reciprocity. So, we've got a lot of leeway when it comes to going to other states and carrying because of that.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so that word is always always right here.
And especially when you want to go into like New York State and you want to, what do they call that? Non-restricted CC.
Yeah.
And that's one of the hardest things you can possibly get.
Really?
And oh yeah, you got to go through hoops, and it's a nightmare. And especially with what's that?
Do you have that?
Yes.
Yourself? So how I'm assuming that they have a lot of you have to take classes.
You have to take a class. You have to get fingerprinted, photographed. They do a lot of just recently with the governor wanted to put in place your social media. You have to have some of that. They really want to get back into it's unconstitutional really. Yeah. But I had it all before that. So it was like I kind of got in before the whole bomb exploded.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And that was years ago.
Yeah. Wow. Michael Dunn said Florida has rich old people that own boats. LOL, good for business.
They do own boats, but here's the thing. The money's because you got a canvas shop on every corner. So I figured, well, if I go down there, I don't mind working for somebody else because I already put down the footprint and I kind of know my way around a little bit. Yeah. So work down there 6 months out of the year, 7, then come back up here, do one of those snowbird things.
There you go. So, well, now what you can do is you can just have your own boat, Brian, and then you can travel down the coast. No.
I'll be honest with you. I did dabble with that. I figured, well, you know what? Instead of buying a house, I remember years ago in the 80s, if you had a boat with a head and a galley, you could write that off on your taxes because it's actually a dwelling.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay. So you can go from Boston Harbor all the way down. It's a wicked pisser. There you go. That's right. There's some New England for you. You probably hear it in the accent also. No, a lot of these.
Actually, you do not have I don't think you have a strong accent at all. I expected more of New
York.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, it comes and goes. It all depends on who I'm talking to or with, depending on my clientele. Right. And all of a sudden it'll pull out of me. But I'm more pea soup, really. Got a whole bunch in there.
Well, you just kind of adapt, right? You're adaptable. Yes.
Well, pretty much. It's the family's from all over, and I'm kind of like a mutt when it comes to language. Yeah. So it's easier when you're a keyboard warrior. Yeah. You can say what you want.
That's
but
right.
I figured, well,
yeah.
Let's see, what do we got? Florida is ritual people. Okay.
That's what.
I don't know how far back I was.
Yeah, I know. It's always so hard to keep up with all those comments when you're talking, right?
I know, usually I speed read pretty good. And
Yeah,
that's when I'm on the other side of the fence.
exactly. I know when you're multitasking and you're trying to talk and think about what you're talking about and make sense and read the comments.
Yeah,
That's the
true.
challenge. So, okay, so Brian, you like firearms. What other hobbies do you have? You don't reload yet, so you can't say reloading, although I hope that's on the horizon.
I haven't pulled the old ball thing yet. So, and I'm hoping to get another, I know you got one over there.
Exactly. Right here. Yeah, it's right here.
It's ready to find a new home, isn't it?
Well, I mean, so whatever the your 550, anybody whoever gets a 550, it's going to be, we're ordering it through Full Circle, my friends at Full Circle Reloading. So but
I see how it's doing.
I
Oh
don't
yeah,
I don't
okay.
actually own it yet. But I have to pay for it as soon as I get to the 5,000 subscribers.
Where are you at now? I
Where
didn't
am I
even see
at?
that. Yeah, as far as subscribers.
Oh geez, that's a really good question. I am very, very close to 3,000. I can tell you the exact amount. I have 2,942.
Ah, you-
So
you're you're past that threshold.
I'm past the halfway point at least. But yeah,
Yep.
I'm so close to what, 58 more subscribers to get to 3,000. And I'm hoping once we hit 3,000 and it's going to be winter, people are going to be watching YouTube more. And I hope that they're going to be, starting to find this channel. I've got 2 videos that I shot this last weekend that I still have to edit. So, that'll give more content, but getting content out, because we're making more and more elaborate videos all the time, it takes longer to get them out because I have to edit them. So
Yeah, I did a time crunch there to figure out what to do, and because I've done Skyping for like some meetings and some for business wise, but I didn't know any of the YouTube thing, so I was
yeah.
like, all right, what do I need to do? Lighting, this, that. And I don't have any of this equipment, so it's like, okay, I'll figure this out. So that's why I emailed you and I said, well, okay, I'll dabble, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. And you did. Look at you. Well,
Well, I
I'll,
got that one training wheel.
yeah, exactly. Well, I tell you, I mean, we started out with a ladder with a cell phone mounted in a vice grip on the top of the ladder and our overhead fluorescent light. That was our studio when we first started doing this. And I mean, we've definitely come a long ways. We actually have studio lights now all around me. No kidding. And we've got mics, different mics, and a couple different video cameras now. I mean, it's just, we keep adding things, and so there's always something else to be added to
Yeah, you're
make.
always incurring the cost. So
Yes.
it's like the podcast, microphone. I figured I'd try out the earbuds.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. I got a little bit of reverb out of it, but uh,
Yeah. Well, okay. So Michael Dunn says one for each of Jenny's members. A press? Is that what you're talking about, Michael Dunn? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, at the low price of, how much is a Dylan press? Like
I can't remember. Yeah, something like
$650, I
that.
think. So, at the low price of $650 for each of my members. I don't know. I
Now I've
might.
got a question. I have a
Yeah.
quick question.
Yeah.
As far as components, where are we at now? As far as primers and stuff.
That's a great question. Who's doing the interview here, Brian?
Sorry.
That's actually a really good question. So as far as components go, we are seeing more primers pop up in more places. So Eagle Armory We have, our friends from Eagle Armory pop on our side chat from time to time. They just had pistol, I think small and large primer, pistol primers, if I can talk right. They just had a bunch of those. Gateway gets them from time to time. We're seeing them pop up in more places. I'm seeing them more even at like Cabela's. They're popping up there. And of course you can find them, I feel like, pretty easily online. We're still using our shooting bot. We utilize shooting bot to get notifications for when primers are available. And I don't know, it just seems to be that, and I haven't seen any powder shortages around here. Like, we are finding powder everywhere. Primers are still, it just kind of depends. They come and go at different places. You have to just keep an eye out for them. But, I would say, I think that the component picture is getting better. I don't know if anybody in the side chat wants to chime in about what they've been seeing, but Reese says you get robbed buying primers online. We've actually found primers for really decent prices online. We've been kind of impressed. We've been able, of course, we're never going to go back to primer prices what they used to be. That day just won't ever come back. But we have gotten a brick of primers for, I want to say $65 maybe. Which is,
But the reason why I lob that question out there is because the hot topic of the political thing with like UPS and FedEx and all that kind of stuff. And,
yes.
They're trying to put a halt on a lot of stuff to the FFLs. And I didn't know about each individual private person, but if you were to do something through an FFL, how would it be, restrained or anything like that? And if it was already in certain areas I had no idea. As far as the people that want to get into reloading, what are they looking at with the current state of affairs?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. We haven't had too much issue. Even at gun shows, we've been seeing components pop up. So I don't know if anybody else has any. Michael Dunn agrees that prices are high. He says it's 80 to 90 there in Minnesota. I'm assuming that's for a brick. Match primers are like $120, he says. So yeah, I've talked to Alan up at Full Circle, and he has even said, we're never going to go back to those prices again. But I look at it this way, the cost of everything is going up always. Nothing ever stays the same. The cost of nothing stays the same. So, prices are always inflating.
Yeah, I try and put it like comparative. Like if somebody was going out to a grocery store, you look at the groceries, you have to eat. So it depends on where you go. You still have to pay the exorbitant price plus the gas to get there. That's why when people ask me, okay, what is your cost? And I try and keep it as fair and competitive as possible. As far as the common day everyday events. So that's one of the toughest topics, as far as finances, especially nowadays.
Right.
And that's why when trying to get product like accessories and stuff like that, I was asked, is it going to affect me with making holsters? Shipping a product, is that considered a firearm accessory, or how does that get classified? So I was like, I really don't know how to place that. And if you have a labeled box, I don't know if it can be retained by certain carriers, as it would be or in the past. So that's why I was like, I wonder how the components are going to ride.
Yeah. So what did you find out for yourself, like for shipping holsters? How would that be classified?
That is not classified as a firearm accessory.
Okay.
It's more of a craft.
Huh. Well, that's good. Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. You know,
Your Leatherman, your knives, your
yeah.
axes, they all have some sort of sheath or holster. So it's
Uh-huh.
basically a textile craft.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, and I know that you know, I would say even just like seeing your holster work, it's definitely almost a piece of art, you know, like you're definitely putting your own creativeness, your own creativity into it. And I would say it's, you know, bordering on not just being a crafted product, but a piece of art, you know. You're
Basically,
making,
that it's like that note that I put in there with it. You can pass it down to your kids, whether
yeah,
they own a firearm or not. That came from Nana or
yeah,
mom.
yeah.
Yep. Quick shout out
Reese,
to Michael Dunn. Thanks. He says Brian's a natural.
yeah, I saw that.
I'm winging
Um,
it.
well, and Reese just made a good suggestion. He said ship it as a saddle accessory. There you
True.
go.
They
Yeah.
they make they make them for long items on the side of a saddle, and I've done a couple of those.
Have you really?
Yes. Yeah. And like the leather tooling, like you know how you get the basket
Yeah.
weave
Yeah.
and that kind of florets. I
Uh-huh.
do all that. Yeah, it all depends on how extensive you want. Different materials like shark skin, elephant,
Mhm.
stingray. A lot of people like the stingray with the little white bone in it. So
Really?
yeah, if you go on stingray holsters, just on normal Google, you'll
Uh-huh.
you'll see that there's like a print, and the white part is actually filed down, and that's the bone of a stingray, the backbone. So a lot of people
Really?
use that in cowboy boots and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So, okay, so what is the most unique holster that you've ever made, or even the most unique gun that you've ever had to make a holster for?
Uh, let's see. A friend of mine, he had oh, what was it? It was a single action revolver. It was an older single action, and it was done in ostrich and stingray. Stingray
Wow.
is hard to sew through because the outer skin. A lot of people think that the stingray is like smooth, like rubber. It's
Yeah.
actually that's an outer skeleton. So your thread gets frayed when it goes through. So
Really?
that was a learning curve when I first started working with stingray.
Wow.
Yeah,
So, I'm assuming you have a machine that you stitch this all of your
several.
stitching with, right?
Yep. Yeah, and some of them I actually hand stitch. I put it on a leather saddle horse that holds the leather, and
Uh-huh.
I'll hand stitch it with needles back and forth all the way through.
Really?
And yeah,
So do you have to pre-drill?
they make punches.
Okay.
They have it almost looks like a how do I like a Barbie doll house salad fork or a like a rake. Yeah, and you put it against the leather and
And
you hit it with a
yeah,
mallet and it pre-punches the holes where you can put the needles through.
right. Yeah. That I always wondered how much hand stitching you did versus machine stitching you did.
Well, for hand stitching, I'll show you something, but I'll hold up the other four fingers so it's not so offensive. It,
Oh, whoops.
yeah, on occasion you do get yourself.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
mean, I
been
I
doing
learned
it for over 30 years, still get it.
yeah, I learned to sew as a little kid. I mean, my mom and my grandma taught me to sew, and yeah, I mean, I think everybody has that happen. I can only imagine that when you do that for a living, it
Here's
would
something
happen.
that you'll get a kick out of. When I was in school, grade school, going into middle school, they had home economics class,
Uh-huh.
and they teach you how to bake and how to do sewing. Well,
Right.
baking, I don't know if everybody's familiar with a whoopie pie.
Yeah.
Those, well, mine was about the size of a plate,
Oh
and
geez.
I ate it all the way through school. you know, in each class because I had it wrapped up in tinfoil, but the thing was a monster. So,
Oh my God.
but also with home economics, I made my first football. I never thought that I'd be doing it later on in life, but it actually, I had an insight when I found this one gentleman when I was restoring a car. I did everything else to this car in restoration, but I did not know how to stitch. And he took me under his wing and taught me everything. So I didn't realize that I would be doing it later on in life. So
Isn't that funny? It's so funny how life takes you in a direction you never expected, right? I mean, you've made a whole career out of that. So,
yeah, and the thing it is no job is ever the same. You could go to a marina, have 3 boats lined up, all the same boats, but each one of them is built just a little bit different because the molds are not the same. So you're never doing the same thing twice.
yeah.
And the people that I meet, it's phenomenal. You get to meet so many diversified people, and it's like, wow, this is like a gold mine. So
Yeah.
I reach out and I talk to different people, and then they'll ask me, well, what can you not do? I said, well, if I find something and I fail at it, I made my first pair of shoes. It was I dressed pair of dress shoes. It's unbelievable.
Oh
I
wow.
watched I watched YouTube. I watched how they all did it with the hand stitching and everything. I went out on eBay, bought the shoe lasts, the hammers, the whole old school stuff. I figured if I wasn't proficient at it, I'd just put the stuff back up on eBay. Oh, I made a pair of shoes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But
did they fit?
I haven't gotten them off the last yet.
Oh.
So
Oh.
they're still sitting. I wish I had them here with me right now. And I just hold them up to the screen.
Yeah.
But everybody's, and my better half, she picked out the leather. So she was
Oh
like,
wow.
oh, this is great. So I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, I'll see what I can do with it. So it was funny when we were in the leather factory that provides everything globally. It was a warehouse of like 40,000 square feet from the
Gosh.
floor to the ceiling of different hides. And I used to go in there and pick whatever I wanted. They'd pull it off the shelf. I'd go through it. Well, she goes, these are all real hides. And it's the sales rep. He was a short little Italian guy. And he goes, no, we're strictly vegan here.
Oh geez.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
Oh, gosh.
if I try something, I'll see if I can do it. And if I fail, well, it was a learning curve. So
Yeah.
that's the way I got into, doing the leather work.
Yeah.
And I noticed here, Critter said about horses. Yes. Saddle work, that's extremely intensive work. That I do not do. I'll do repair or I'll do bridle stuff or horse blankets, like for sweat blankets out there in the
Yeah.
cold or whatnot. But
Uh-huh.
as far as equestrian saddles, I don't have the experience for that. That's straight
Those
up honest right there.
Yeah, I think saddles would be a whole different realm. That's
That's a
just
different animal.
yeah. No pun intended.
Definitely.
I see Walter Bunning is on Viejo. He says, "Hey folks, late to the party as usual."
Hey,
Um
Walter.
he's probably been reloading in his shop, so you're forgiven, Walter. There's no no
Yeah,
reason to
we got
worry
to
about being
catch
late.
up.
So Michael Dunn says, I have a Leatherman tool with a Holy holster and I need a new holster for it. Could I send it to you to make a new one?
Yes, you can. A lot of people do that. They text me, they go back and forth, they email me. I think I put both of the email and website there. And definitely, I can do that for you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'm trying to see where you posted.
Hello, Affordable Armory. I just want to recap. I saw you back there and you said it's nice to put a face with the text.
Yeah, yeah. Dale Pogue also commented. He said he went to the range yesterday. The range only goes out to 285 yards. So I think he was impressed with your range space
Yeah, my
because
nephew, he's got it made right where he is. And he's
yeah,
got an AR, a 10 and a half AR 15, yeah, AR 15, and it's 5.56. But
uh-huh.
he has a barrel drum on it with a binary trigger.
Oh wow.
And talk about reload. He says, "Hey, Unc, do you want to shoot this thing?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll give it a rip." Well, I went through a couple hundred rounds in less than 2 minutes. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, that's expensive." I said, "No, I'm done."
Now, have you ever done any kind of competitive shooting, Brian?
No,
No.
no,
Have you ever thought
like
about it?
Jerry. I look at Jerry and all the guys from like CZ. I watch him,
Yeah.
and it's like it's there's an art to it, and it's almost like ballet dancing. They
Mm,
just have it. I never dabbled in it. I'm more of a hunter or just a recreational shooter,
yeah.
but I don't have or never had introduced myself to that realm.
Yeah.
Now, have you?
No. Unless you can count my short career as a trap shooter for my work team.
Oh, the
That was yeah, with my black eye. I mean,
yeah. As you
well,
say, I always have a steel trap mind.
yeah. Well, honestly, like we'll be starting our trap league back up again in the spring, and I guess they start the season when it's in March. I guess it's like still really cold and there's snow and ice still coming down. They've actually shot in this was before I joined their team, but they shot in some pretty disgusting conditions. So not sure I'm really looking forward to shooting in that kind of conditions, but hey, it's all for
Well,
the good of the team, right?
here's another giggle for you. Going to shoot with my nephew in the
Uh-huh.
snow, picking up the brass. Bring your Leatherman because
Oh,
they're hot and they melt into the snow and they
yeah.
stick. So you have to
Oh,
pick
wow.
them out. So he had, usually we go around with this. In the early '80s, the kids had this wheelie thing with eyeballs and a big popper ball thing,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
that
Uh-huh.
toy.
Yeah,
Well, he has something similar to that, and he just runs all over the place and he picks up all the brass with it. It's a
yeah,
cool little item, but
yeah. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
during the wintertime, no, the brass freezes into the snow.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Tim
Holster
Rink
made
says,
from horse leather.
Tim,
Yes, I
Tim
saw
Rink,
a critter.
what
Sorry, I
did
cut you
you
off.
say?
No, I just
Oh,
saw a critter. He says
it's made from,
holsters made from horse leather. Yes, it's very hard leather, which is really durable. You can make it from that. Let's see, and I don't know if you understand rough out. Instead of the smooth side, it's actually a rough side,
hmm.
but it's the underlayer. You got the horsehide, and then the underlayer below that is what you actually use.
Oh, wow.
Okay, sorry. Keep
No,
going.
that's okay. I'm glad you caught that because I didn't see his comment, but yeah, that's
Yep,
interesting. Tim Rink says he'd rather shoot in the snow than the rain. I would
true.
say yes. Michael Dunn says bring a flamethrower with you. There you go.
True.
You could just melt the snow. I
Or instead
mean,
of finding the kid there that won't mow your lawn, bring him along so he can pick up your brass.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's funny, Michael Dunn, that you say that about the flamethrower because so the guy who owns our local tactical shit he posted on Instagram a couple of weeks ago. Uh he was out in his parking lot. He and a couple of other guys were out in the parking lot outside tactical shit with flamethrowers. Like just shooting their flamethrowers toward I don't know. I mean, there was nothing else around. But I was like, gosh, that looks like fun. I haven't actually gotten to shoot a flamethrower, but that'd be kind of cool. I mean, I don't know if anybody here has one. No, you don't have
No,
one, Brian?
no, over in New Hampshire there, my FFL, he has one. And
Does he?
he'd been trying to pawn it off. It's like a military grade looking thing. And he
Oh,
was like,
wow.
oh yeah, you got to have this. I'm like, what am I going to do with that? There's no purpose, you
No.
know?
Well, I mean, you can melt the snow with it.
Although I dabbled with tannery.
Ah, there you go. I'm not sure I
There's
would
no
want to be that
purpose for that,
close.
really, but
Yeah. I'm not sure I'd want to be that close, but I don't know. So, all right. Oh my gosh, we're already at 55 minutes, Brian.
I told you
Um,
we might go that. Who is it that always wants to go about 2.5, 3 hours, something like that?
well, Michael Dunn
Hey, Mike,
usually.
I'm going to see if I can push the envelope for you. How's that?
No. Critter always has, the best and most sound ideas. Very, very safe. Critter says hairspray and a Bic lighter works just as good. But, Critter is also the one that's testing his reloads by shooting it into his tree right outside his door. So,
Well, doesn't he do like drive by bee hunting in his mailbox or something like that on his golf course?
yeah.
I think he said that one time. I don't know if I have it positively correct, but he does
Yeah.
drive-bys with bees.
Yeah, no, you have the way of it. Yep, that's just it. Oh, critter. Michael Dunn says 3 hours. No, I don't think so.
Well,
Oh,
I see that.
Reese,
That's
by the
wasp.
way, Reese, I need you to email me JennyJ1911 at USA.com. You got to email me something so I can remember to email you because I need your address, Reese. You have to email me your address because I have something to send you. So I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. I'll let Reese tell you guys what he gets from me in the mail one of these days. It's a surprise, but I
Does
think
it take a place of this?
no, no, it's actually way cooler than that. Oh, Critter says that's wasp/hornet hunting. There you go. Yeah.
You got to pull John Wick with that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. So, okay, so Brian, do you have any parting words of wisdom for your fellow J crew as far as, shooting and guns? Do you have any like advice for anybody maybe that's just starting out shooting or
Wow, that's a loaded question.
oh,
No pun intended.
get it?
I have nothing really for you as far as, respect the Second Amendment, know your firearm, take the classes.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, I don't need classes. Sometimes you do. You might find something that, like a Ruger 22 pistol. I had no idea how to take the thing apart. And I've gone through a lot of pistols. And I was like, there's no way. Well, that little, you probably know them, that little spring in the back and
Uh-huh.
the handle.
It's the
There's an
worst.
expensive tool that
Yeah.
nobody will sell you, and it's called a paper clip.
Yes,
It
exactly.
works great.
Paper clips. I think people should have a paper clip in just about every gun case that they carry
Yes.
because like they're seriously, I don't know, there's something, but I love my Rugers, but I tell you what, some of the like the marks are so hard. Marks 1 through 3 are very hard to get apart and then back together. So,
That little pesky pin that goes up through the back, you don't have it aligned right.
getting
Oh,
it lined up exactly.
yeah.
Okay, so I am putting on Brian's Custom Canvas, if I can make sure I'm spelling it right, at gmail.com. Brian's Custom Canvas at gmail.com. Okay, there we go. Now,
Yeah, so parting words as you asked.
yeah.
Practice, practice. Take classes if you can.
Mhm.
There are some things out there that, even I don't know, and I just pick up on, sometimes there's firearm safety classes, and it's, oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Right.
So it's well worth the money. And plus, if you practice, yeah, you're going to get into reloading. Why not?
Yep.
It makes you more proficient with whatever you carry.
Right.
And I try to be proficient with everything that I carry, even the Tupperware.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, and I think, I think that the more proficient you are with any firearm, the more you're going to enjoy carrying it. Not only are you safer, but you're just going to have fun shooting it, anything.
Like the new person carrying, especially appendix, you get
Yeah.
fidgety because you don't know, you're really insecure until you get comfortable with that firearm.
Yeah.
Then it's like second nature. You don't even think about it.
Right. Yeah. We met a really, really sweet woman this last weekend. And she was telling us she carries, and she was actually attacked in her place of business, which was also her home. And, she even was saying, I want to keep practicing with my gun. She carries, like, she's got her CCW, but she said, I want to take classes from you to ensure that, I'm staying up on my skills with shooting. And so, yeah, I agree. I think that, it's never wrong to take another class, get a second set of eyes on your form and your technique. And, I just think I think it's a great idea. I echo your sentiment, Brian, that, it's good to keep practicing and taking the classes and being proficient. So, I'm going to look here and see. Dale Pogue says, I started reloading so I could shoot more. Now I shoot more so I can reload more. That's a good idea.
If you have multiple firearms, keep track of the brass and know which one you're reloading.
Yes.
Because some of them look the same.
Oh, I know. Yeah, for sure. C. Bra says, I replaced all the parts in my Mark II with all Volquartsen parts back in 95 or so, but that was before a stroke in 2002 made fiddling with small parts difficult. I mean, this is totally off topic, but a Volquartsen, oh, I would love to shoot one of those. I've never gotten to shoot one. So if anybody has one they want to send me, I'm always willing to try that because I've heard nothing but really great things about those. So, all right. So, all right. And Mr. Bunning, Viejo says, nicely presented chat tonight, folks. And, that's a compliment coming from him. He's the master of live chats. So, so
thank you, Walter.
Thank you, Walter. Yeah.
All right. At least I'm not the only gray hair on this.
Oh, well, I would be if I didn't color it all the time. So,
well, I was told I should.
No. Now, it's different for guys than for women. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it, Brian. All right.
I'll just shave it up.
Hey, D. Luddit, how are you doing? Good to see you. Haven't seen you out at the range lately, but maybe soon. All right. So, Brian, we are going to go ahead and sign off and tell all of our lovely viewers goodbye. But, I want to tell everybody, thank you for being here and for, showing Brian some love. And Brian, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come and let people put a face with a name. And
now I'm a target.
Yeah. No, I think everybody, loves knowing who they're on talking with, and now they all know a little bit more about Brian's custom canvas. So make sure I've got the email up on the screen. If you have questions for Brian, email him. Sounds like he's pretty proficient at doing some customizable things for you guys. So, make sure you reach out to him. But Michael Dunn says he's going to email you, Brian. So be on the lookout for that.
Thank you, everybody, for your support. Definitely.
Yeah.
This was a challenge for me.
Well, you
I got
handled
that
it.
one training wheel.
No. You did great. You were awesome. So thank you, everybody, for being here. And, we will chat again soon. I look forward to talking to everybody again soon. And have a great night and sweet dreams. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.